Hello and welcome. My name is Terra Steenman, and today I will be presenting the project Terra in relationship to the WSU Architectural Graduate College and the WSU Spokane campus. Here we get a good first look at the project. We see that this project is 200,000 square feet, 9 floors, 2 floors of commercial, and then 7 floors of residential. I believe that this project should consist of timber modular apartments for the students, a commercial food array consisting of grocery, cafe, and restaurant, as well as a park to provide the critical infrastructure for the building and its surrounding area. Here we get a good first look at the area, but we find that the area is actually it's lacking in 2 areas. One is green space and another is food. The area currently exists in a food desert, which is if basically 100 households have little access to high quality food half a mile away or transportation to a store a mile away. The best store for permanent high quality food is Safeway, and that exists both across the train tracks, river, and more than a mile away. So we're going to have to provide a food infrastructure for our community that we create. Second, there is very little to no green space, the only green space being the Gonzaga playfields. And so what we want to do is we want to create a community park that allows the community to enjoy the outdoors, biophilia, sort of an area for people to be outside. Looking more specifically at the actual uses and development of the project, this project is going to be a modular project, which means that it's going to be constructed of CLT in a factory offsite and then trucked over and craned in onsite. This will allow quicker installation, reduction of CO2, and an overall greener process. And then as far as the food, we're going to grow a portion of it on-site hydroponically, which will allow for fresher, high-quality vegetables. And hydroponics itself is a wonderful technology. It requires significantly less soil, significantly less water. It increases the harvest rate instead of once a year to 4 times a year, and it increases the yields from 50% to 90%. Also, instead of daily trucking in a portion of the food, what we're going to do is growing that is going to reduce the CO2 emissions of that and the continual footprint of the building and its occupants. So here we look at the concept and we see the different variety of site factors that need to be taken account. We want to make sure to be aware of the shading that's going to happen from the future development to the south. And so we want to step that on the street level lower, so that we don't get shaded as much as a building. We want the area of high activity to be near the Catalyst and Hub building. That's where our park's going to be. And then in the northwest corner, that's going to be our area of lowest conflict or least activity. And there we'll be able to build the building to the fullest extent. Now looking at the program, we see the park that is going to be occupying more the eastern side. And then the western side is going to be the building, consisting of 7 floors of wooden modular apartments and then 2 floors of commercial space. Now playing a little bit with the massing, we're stepping down the building in these terraces. This allows people to more easily climb to the roof of the building. It improves the roof into a more active green space for the community. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to step the park up. We're going to employ more of a terracing typography, and this will allow for a collection of big spaces for gatherings as well as small spaces for hangouts and more chill areas. And we're actually going to carry that step topography all the way into the courtyard and really integrate, as well as on top of the building, and integrate the park and the building as one. Here we get a final look at the exploded massing. You can see the park with its terraced structure, as well as the student housing with the circulation on the interior for security purposes. Here is a look at the section, north-south section looking east, and we see the stacked apartments. You see the growing space, the hydroponic growing garden, as well as the restaurant and its play with the park and the the circulation space that occurs as the courtyard goes along. Here is the view of the park looking back at the building, and we see again the differing collection of hangout spaces as well as the transitory spaces and those steps that ascend from the ground floor to the second floor and start that progression up the levels of the building, up the terraces. Here's a look at the first floor. We see the grocery store, hydroponic growing, restaurant space, and the variety of uses that we discussed earlier. Second floor, we have the addition of the cafe and the commercial space. And then the third floor, we see the units. We see two different units, the smaller unit and the larger unit, as well as the sort of hangout spaces that exist on the floors. Here's a look at the first unit. It's a singular unit, and it has an ensuite bathroom. The second unit, ensuite bathroom, as well as a living room and kitchen area. This can house 1 to 2 students. And then finally, here's a look back onto the courtyard, showing the integration of all the spaces as they collectively interact to each other. This is actually the view of the cafe entrance. And so you can see that you can easily step down and step up in those terraces, integrating between the building and the park. Thank you very much, and thank you for listening to this presentation.